Hello, everyone. I've decided that I'm going to continue reading chapter 4 before I go to bed. So it's very late here. It's 1 a.m., but I'm going to read it because I've just came home and from work actually. I kind of commute to another place for work during the week, and then on the weekend I get to come back home and I get to be in my room and stay there and like just do some beautiful hobby-esque activities that can help me revive my soul in a way. And my hobbies are always like reading, writing, and any intellectual pursuit that can kind of just wake up my mind in a way, So it's almost necessary for me to read right now because I've not been reading for the past couple of days, and it's very excruciating to be to be away from it. So like reading is actually a very you like what am I saying? I'm saying that reading cannot be detached from my daily routine. So, even in my weekdays, which I'm working, and I get back home at like around 12. I go to work at about 5 a.m. in the morning. No, not 5 a.m. 7 a.m. I'm sorry, I am a bit sleepy, so I am messing things up. I'm kind of mixing it up in my head. But at 7 a.m. in the morning, I have to go to work, and then I come back home at around 12 p.m. And then I go to sleep. I take a nap always because I want to have a break from work. Like I just want to rest my mind so that I don't feel like I'm working too much after it. So I rest my mind for about 1 hour or 2 hours, maybe. Like I wake up around 5, no, not 5, 4 p.m. And then I do my hobbies, like I do things that I actually love. Not my hobbies. I wouldn't call them hobbies. Like I really genuinely care and sincerely pursue them in a way that like I'm kind of using my discipline as a hobby in a way. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really make sense, but I like seeing myself, pushing myself, seeing myself under pressure. And I keep doing that because, I love difficulty. And if the amount of difficulty that I am kind of stuffing in my days is kind of the same as yesterday, then I'm not gonna feel satisfied. So I have to push myself maybe a bit further, even if it's like 1 inch or one tiny step, like just doing the dishes, I guess, very early on, maybe, something different from yesterday, something more difficult and more demanding of my discipline, and that sense of beautiful sense of like wanting to do something without like having it be very comfortable. All right, I'm getting into the tangent here. I have to go back to reading. Far away on the opposite spiral arm of the galaxy, 500,000 light years from the star soul, Zaphod Beeblebrox, okay, president of the Imperial Galactic Government, sped across the seas of Damogron. What is that? I'm very sorry for pronouncing all these words wrong because I am. And I'm just gonna keep pronouncing them wrong, I guess. I mean, like, sue me. I don't know what to do. I can't just look all of them up because probably these are just like made up words from the author. I know that the author is like kind of very famous for making up words, so yeah, it's not my fault. It's Douglas Adams' fault. Okay, it's not mine. All right? All right. His iron drive delta boat winking and flashing in the Damogron sun. Damogron. I hate pronouncing it wrong. The hot, demogron, the remote, demogron, the almost totally unheard of. Okay, that's beautiful. Such a like. It's really kind of very cool. Like demogron, the hot, demogron, the remote, demogron, the almost totally unheard of, no, totally. Okay. Damagron, secret home of the heart of gold. The boat sped on across the water. It would be some time before it reached its destination, but because Demogron is such an inconveniently arranged planet, it consists of nothing but middling to large desert islands separated by very pretty but annoyingly wide stretches of ocean. The boat sped on. I'm sorry. I am sleepy, actually, and it really shows. Because of this I don't know that word. I actually heard of this word on quite um, a few account, but I don't know what actually is the pronunciation of it. Topography. Oh my God, topography. Why is it? Why was it so hard for me to pronounce it? I've heard it so many times. Like it's just so mundane, such a mundane word. Like I don't know why. Maybe it's because of lack of sleep. Um, oh yeah, topography. Okay, topograph. Okay, I don't know how to say that. Topographical, topography is differently pronounced than topo, top, I can't say it. Um, awkwardness, Damagora, has always remained a deserted planet. This is why the Imperial Galactic government chose Demogron for the Heart of Gold project because it was so deserted and the Heart of Gold project was so secret. The boat zipped and skipped across the sea that lay between the main islands of the only archipelago archipelago of any useful size on the whole planet. Archipelago? What's archipelago? Archipelago. All right, I got it. Um, filled with these words that I don't know how to, like, I don't even know what they are. Babibel Brooks. How did you come up with that? Like Zaphod? Zaphod? What is it? What was on his way from the tiny spaceport on Easter Island. The name was an entirely meaningless coincidence in galactic spec. Easter means small, flat, and light brown. To the heart of Gold Island, which by another meaningless coincidence was called Franz. One of the side effects of work on the Heart of Gold was a whole string of pretty meaningless coincidences. But it was not in any way a coincidence that today, the day of culmination of the project, the great day of unveiling, the day that the Heart of Gold was finally to be introduced to a marveling galaxy, was also a great day of culmination for Zaphod Beeblebrox. It was for the sake of this day that he had first decided to run for the presidency, a decision that had sent shockwaves of astonishment throughout the imperial galaxy. Zaphod Beeblebrox, president? Not the Zaphod Beeblebrox, not the president. Many had seen it as clinching proof that the whole of known creation had finally gone bananas. Zaphod grinned and gave the boat an extra kick of speed. Zaphod Beeblebrox, adventurer, ex-happy, ex-happy, good timer, crook, quite possibly, manic self-publicist, terrible, bad personal relationships, often thought to be completely out of lunch. President? Oh, okay. So, like, they're very curious to know why this is happening. Why is he like becoming a president or something like that? I don't know. I'm just assuming that that's exactly what's happening, but I'm not sure. No one had gone bananas, not in that way at least. Only 6 people in the entire galaxy understood the principle on which the galaxy was governed. And but they knew that once David Beeblebrox had announced his intention to run as president, it was more or less a fate accompli. He was ideal presidency fodder. What does that mean? Well, it does have a star here, but I don't know if I clicked on this. What? Okay, so like it means what? I'm gonna go back. Bring me back to the. Okay. All right, we're back. What they completely failed to understand was why Zafit was doing it. He banged sharply, shooting a wild wall of water at the sun. Today was the day. Today was the day when they would realize what Zafid had been up to. Today was what Zafid Beeblebrox's presidency was all about. Today was also his 200th birthday, but that was just another meaningless coincidence. As he skipped his boat across the seas of Demogron, he smiled quietly to himself about what a wonderful, exciting day it was going to be. He relaxed and spread his 2 arms lazily along the seat back. He steered with an extra arm he'd recently had fitted just beneath his right one to help improve his ski boxing. Hey, he cooed to himself, you're a real cool boy, you. But his nerves sang a song shriller than a dog whistle. The island of France was about 20 miles long, 5 miles across the middle, sandy and crescent shaped. In fact, it seemed to exist not so much as an island in its own right as simply a means of defining the sweep and curve of a huge bay. This impression was heightened by the fact that the inner coastline of the crescent, whatever, consisted almost entirely of steep cliffs. From the top of the cliff, the land sloped slowly down 5 miles to the opposite shore. On top of the cliffs, stood a reception committee. It consisted in large part of the engineers and researchers who had built the Heart of Gold, mostly humanoid, but here and there were a few reptiloid atomineers, I don't know what that is, 2 or 3 green self-like, whatever. uh, I'm not gonna read any of it. All except the resplendent. What? What in the history of English dictionary? What? Attractive and impressive through being richly colorful, sumptuous. What's sumptuous? Oh, I know. Okay. All right. I am getting a bit anxious here, and not anxious like angry, kind of like sleep angry. What's sleep angry? We know like hungry and angry is hangry, but what's like sleep angry? Slip angry. Slip angry. No, slaggery. I'm very slaggery. That sounds very cool. I am very overjoyed by my own creation right now. All right. Multicolored ceremonial lab coats. The hula woo. What? Hula woo. Okay, had been temporarily refracted into a freestanding prison for the occasion. There was a mood of immense excitement thrilling through all of them. Together and between them, they had gone to and beyond the furthest limits of physical laws, restructured the fundamental fabric of matter, strained, twisted, and broken the laws of possibility and impossibility. But still, the greatest excitement of all seemed to be to meet a man with an orange sash round his neck. An orange sash was what the president of the galaxy traditionally wore. It might not even have made much difference to them if they'd known exactly how much power the president of the galaxy actually wielded. None at all. Only 6 people in the galaxy knew that the job of galactic president was not to wield power but to attract attention away from it. Was amazingly good at his job. The crowd gasped, dazzled by sun and seamanship, as the presidential speedboat zipped around the headland into the bay. It flashed and shone as it came skating over the sea in wide skidding turns. In fact, it didn't need to touch the water at all because it was supported on a hazy cushion of ionized atoms. But just for effect, it was fitted with thin fin blades, which could be lowered into the water. They slashed sheets of water hissing into the air, carved deep gashes in the sea, which swayed crazily and sank back, foaming in the boat's wake as it careered across the bay. Zafid loved effect. It was what he was best at. He twisted the wheel sharply. The boat skidded round in a wild, skiving skid beneath the cliff face and dropped to rest lightly on the rocking waves. Within seconds, he ran out onto the deck and waved and grinned at over 3 billion people. The 3 billion people weren't actually there, but they watched his every gesture through the eyes of a small robot camera which hovered obsequiously. What is that? Huh? What does it mean? Or attentive to an excessive or servile degree. Obsequiously in the air nearby. The antics of the presidents always made amazingly popular. Okay, I'm really not sure what this is actually saying anymore. It's very difficult to continue reading at this point because, man, I am feeling sleepy and I'm reading this difficult, filled with words that are not even from this planet, and everything is just so extraterrestrial. And I don't know, I'm not familiar with the world that it's building, and I'm going on and on reading, and I'm ignoring the fact that I'm not understanding it, which is gonna build up this misunderstanding clog of concepts in my head. So I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna come back to it later. Thank you so much for listening to me. If you were listening to me, why would I say that actually? That was so stupid. But yeah, thank you.